Hello folks, I'm here at this local cactus patch in Montgomery County, Maryland. This is just north of Washington, D.C. and right near my home, and sort of on the side of this, I guess this home here, and on a pretty busy street, but really cool cactus patch. I wonder how long it's been here because it looks really old. I mean, to have become this established. And it's really neat, and I just wanted to give you guys a video of it in bloom. So I don't know when peak bloom of this patch was. I heard that the flowers only last for 1 day each on each of the pads. That's what I've heard. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it seems right because it looks like I think some of the blooms have already gone. You can see some of the older flowers there, and I think peak bloom might have been a couple days ago. Maybe it's yet to come. I don't know, but it's in the blooming process, and many of these new pads are blooming. So you can sort of see the difference in color between like that pad and that pad, for example. So all those darker green pads that just have those little dots on them, those are the older pads, and the dots are actually sort of those old bases right there that have fallen off and have these little spines called glotches. In fact, you can see a big patch of them right there on each of those dots. Those are called glotches. There's little spines, and they're incredibly sharp. I mean, well, I should say they dig into your skin incredibly easily, but they don't really hurt so much as that if you do get them in your skin, it's best to remove them probably with tweezers because they can get stuck there, and I've had it happen, and they can get kind of irritating, but they don't really hurt, but they do get stuck easily. So I'd recommend just using gloves when handling prickly pear, and I've had plenty of glotches in my hand, but just wanted to give you guys a little video on this. And then you can see these newer pads here still, this is when you're supposed to eat them apparently, still have these spines on them. So if these spines are on them, they're sharp. They're not sharp, they're rubbery, and this is completely safe to touch and handle. But if you do see them start to fall off, like at the bottom there, then you don't want to touch that, because that is when they start to get the glotches on them, and those things can get stuck in your fingers. And you can see a cicada shell there. Cicadas are sort of going away a little bit. It looks like the peak of the cicadas was like a week or two ago, and I'm starting to see a little bit less of them, but there's still lots of them. But anyways, yeah, they a little bit about these eastern prickly pear flowers. This is Opuntia humifusa, and it's a beautiful species. And you can see these the flowers. They produce these beautiful bright yellow flowers. I don't exactly know if they're fragrant. They got a little bit of smell to them. They smell nice, and yeah, beautiful, just beautiful flowers, and just a beautiful species of cactus overall. And yeah, I just want to give you guys a quick little video on this, because Opuntia humifusa is a native here, and you can see some pictures of local ones in the area blooming in the wild, that's always something that's really cool to see. And you can see this patch is just huge, and yeah, the flowers are beautiful, and they're only in bloom for a relatively short period of time. So I need to give you guys this update while I still got them in bloom. And I hope my cactus patch looks like this one day. I've got a couple of pads in my yard that I've gotten actually from this patch specifically. And yeah, this is so spring, early spring is when they start to put out these. They sort of shrivel up in winter. They plump back up, and they sort of flop back down, so they're all flat in winter. Then they sort of plop back up and sort of plump up in like at the end of winter, early spring. And then in early spring, they send out these new pads here, and the new pads are what have these beautiful flowers on them. You can see this one's about to open there, and you can see a bunch of flowers that have already opened here. But yeah, so these new pads are sent out in early spring, and then late spring is when they usually flower, which is what's happening right now when they bloom. So beautiful species of cactus that is native. It's actually native from South Florida to Southern Ontario, and from Connecticut all the way, I believe, to Eastern New Mexico. So it's got a giant range, and a very adaptable species. I mean, obviously New Mexico and here have very different climates. Eastern New Mexico's, the entire state of New Mexico is arid, semi-arid, and here it's wet, and they can take the cold. They're incredibly hardy. I'm sure at least into zone 5A, probably maybe even into 4B. I don't know. I mean, they're native into zone probably 5B USDA hardiness zone. So they are very hardy species, and just an awesome cactus. I love cacti generally, and this is probably one of my favorite species, at least here for the DC area. It's certainly one of the best because it is a native. And I do want to get a video soon of the of wild prickly pear growing, because I do know of a number of locations where they are. There's a lot of specimens were cleared because most of the forests here are second and third growth forests, And you know, what that means is that the old growth forest, the forest that was here before settlement, was completely logged, and then they replanted the forest. And when they replanted it, you know, they planted a lot of the native deciduous trees. A lot of the evergreens were cleared out, and also a lot of these understory plants. I mean, you know, when you plant a bunch of maples, for example, or beech trees, they'll grow back and they'll look like a forest in, you know, 50, 60 years. So you've been planting a lot of saplings. You'll see this all over the country, of them sort of reforesting land. But what they often don't plant is these understory plants, because these are never going to grow to be massive trees. So, you know, when you're trying to get that forest look back, you often don't go in and plant every species. So that's one of the things that has sort of wiped out this species in a lot of locations in, you know, Maryland, for example, and throughout their range. But it is nice to see some preserved forest lands, specifically along the Potomac River, and a lot of parks where they are actually still native, and there are wild stands of them. So I do want to get a video of that soon. And yeah, a lot of nice hiking trails that have wild prickly pear along them near here. And yeah, super awesome species, and just getting it in bloom is just something else. It's really cool to see them, you know, like this with the beautiful yellow flowers. So just want to show you guys that, and I think it's super neat. So thanks for watching, folks. Stay tuned for more videos. This is here in Montgomery County, Maryland, just north of Washington, D.C. And this is eastern prickly pear, Opuntia humifusa, and it is an excellent species that is very cold hardy and great for wetter climates and colder locations. So try it in your own garden if you're in a colder location or a warmer location. Like I said, they are native to South Florida, to the Keys, so they can take, you know, they don't mind the tropics. They also don't mind, you know, subarctic temperatures. So very an awesome species. Thanks for watching, folks. This is a local Maryland cactus patch in bloom. Take care.